Independent thought, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Oh, man. Tell you what. America no longer cares about Omicron, Deltacron. Did you see that new one that, like, even people that live for this bizarre world of holding and letting the virus control everything are like, yeah, this thing doesn't exist. This guy's full of crap over in Cyprus. So, new poll out. Guess what? I'm here to tell you guys this. Inflation up, Omicron down. Inflation up, COVID-19 down. How much? Almost 40 points. Economy number one. Economy number one. Immigration up 14 points. Politics down 26. Personal finances, cost of living's up. Gun issues up. Climate change down. Foreign policy up. Education up. Racism and inequality down. Why? Because we live in a world now where enough is enough. I wasn't here on yesterday. I had to take care of a family emergency. My father-in-law passed away on Friday, and some of you knew that. You heard. And thank you for your well wishes. Thanks for Craig filling in for me. I appreciate that. But this whole thing was a perfect example of the insanity, in particular, of the left who live for this stuff. Bill Maher's been calling it out for the last year when he was going over saying that, you know, he's walking down the steps of okay, you know, the right over here thinks that less than 1% die from COVID. They're right. The left thinks that, you get it, it's a death sentence. They're wrong. This is Justice Sotomayor. As they're discussing, which, by the way, is going to be completely, it's done. I think everybody knows that. If you listen to any of the Supreme Court and the whole mandate thing, it's done. This is her talking about children and coronavirus.
Country today than we had a year ago in January. We have hospitals that are almost at full capacity with people severely ill on ventilators. We have over 100,000 children, which we've never had before, in serious condition.
No, we don't. Not even close. That is a lie. In fact, it's so much a lie that both the New York Times and the Washington Post had to call her out and say that's an absolute lie. You didn't get one Pinocchio, two Pinocchio, three. You got four Pinocchios. Four. 1, 2, 3, 4 Pinocchios. People have moved on. The economy. People care about the economy. Why? Because every single day it hits them. Every single day they go to the gas pump, it hits them. Every single day they go to buy food, it hits them. Every single day they go to pay their rent, it hits them. Seeing interest rates start to rise. Inflation, inflation, inflation. The economy will always be the leader in the clubhouse all the time. And I don't think this president gets it.
Now I hear Republicans say today that my talking about this strong record shows that I don't understand. I don't understand. A lot of people are still suffering, they say. Well, they are. Or that I'm not focused on inflation. Malarkey.
Malarkey. Malarkey. He said malarkey. Ooey! I tell you what, I'm super it. I'll give you 2 bits right now. Enough. Enough. People are over it. They don't care. What did 5 million people supposedly call out sick this week? You got the fake Flurona. You got all of this. By the way, that's not a real thing. Flurona is not a real thing. It's you have this and you have this. They didn't join forces, right? They're not the Wonder Twins. They're not Reese's Peanut Butter Cups going, hey, your chocolate got in my peanut butter. No, hey, your flu got in my coronavirus. No, your coronavirus got in my flu. We should join forces and bleed Flurona. It's not that. Did you say Wonder Twins? Yeah. The worst superheroes of all time. I think we'd all agree on that. One gets to turn themselves into water, and the other one turns themselves into an animal. That's it. Those are your things. It's not like it turns himself into a tsunami either. People go to the gas pump. They feel it.
In the past week, the average price of regular unleaded in the U.S. inching up from $3.28 a gallon to nearly $3.30 a gallon, according to new data from the Energy Department. Almost a buck higher compared to this time last year. The cheapest gas right now is along the Gulf Coast at $2.92 a gallon. The most expensive, as is normally the case, California is at $4.50 a gallon for regular unleaded.
Yeah, that's huge. And you're feeling it. Goes into every single thing. We are over it. We're ready to live our lives. Saw that Fresno is shutting down their school district. So many kids are sick. You know, at some point in time, what have I said? And I'll continue to say, got to live with this thing, through this thing, around this thing, and eventually above this thing. You don't let it control you. It's endemic, not pandemic. You're trying to get to zero. We don't keep score for anything else. Right? When's the last time you saw the score for the flu? Well, only like 40 million people get the flu. How do we know that? Honestly. If you're sick, unless you get to the point where you're like, I got to go see a doctor. If you have the flu, you're just like, I'll handle it with over-the-counter medications. Same thing with this. Enough. People want to get back to living their lives. They don't want to wear a damn mask on an airplane. They're sick and tired of having to be in a world where like, oh, I got a headache. Oh, I can't go to work for 5 days? Enough. What if somebody's sick at home? We never do that with anything else. If you have a cold, you'd probably go to work. Outside of a stomach flu, you're probably trying to show up more often than not, even when you don't feel good. That's kind of who we are. That's who we've been built. You know, that's how we built this country. Is we just kind of push through it. This is totally different now. People care about their paychecks. They care about the fact that they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're looking at a government right now that feels like they're useless. And by the way, a government that is going to probably sink with the ship, meaning the Republicans, if you guys stay out of your own way, which is hard, let's be 100% honest, hard for them to do. You should walk into having the House and a great shot at getting the Senate. A great shot. And as long as you've got a president that says stuff like this.
This continues to be a pandemic of the unvaccinated. The only pandemic we have is among the unvaccinated, and they're killing people. The fact is, this has been a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
You continue to do that. You continue to hold on to stuff like that. Let it go. So what? They've made their choice. They're fine with their choice. You know what this is becoming? A pandemic of people sick and tired of being broke, of sick and tired of watching inflation run away from them, a pandemic of the economy that you don't want to turn into an endemic of the economy. And if you continue to play this grab-ass game of start, stop, maybe yes, no, do this, you're done. It's time to move on.
As COVID goes, so goes Joe Biden's presidency. And right now, COVID is a major health and political problem. The public is in a different place, though, than it was a year ago. And the Biden administration is desperately trying to catch up. The CDC has offered confusing and at sometimes contradictory advice. The Supreme Court seems skeptical about the best tool in Biden's toolbox, the vaccine mandates. And stay-at-home guidelines and school closures have given us a feeling of a recurring nightmare.
Yeah. That's what it is. We're shut down schools. Keep playing this game. Well, how long is it going to be? We don't know. Well, how sick are people really? Just out of curiosity. How sick are they really? All the people that are dying, just out of curiosity.
The overwhelming number of deaths, over 75%, occurred in people who had at least 4 comorbidities. So really, these are people who were unwell to begin with.
Yeah, the CDC and everybody else is trying to prepare some of the public that has been freaked out by the media and everybody else that, hey, we might have to start getting back to normal world. This may not be the lead story every single night. This may not be statistic porn that people like so much. This may not be that. Your work may just have to say, we got to learn to live with this thing. We don't do it for anything else. If you catch the flu today and you go to work, even though you probably shouldn't, but you do, the reality is they're not sending you home. Well, they might say, hey, Jim, you don't look good, go home. Or, hey, Karen, it's time for you to get out of here. But if you're just going on and you're doing your stuff and you're sitting there like this, you're probably just going to get along with your day. Here it's like, oh, lock him up, find out who he got around, find out where he touched and what he touched. Let's bring everything in. We're going to clean it like there was an assassination and want to clean everything. That's where we are. People are over it. And if you start talking about closing schools again, which some places are, I'm telling you guys, you're talking 4 comorbidities. 4. Obesity, COPD, cancer, diabetes. We can go on and on. So the unhealthy get this, and they get sick, and they die. I see. Okay. So the rest of us need to live in fear. Yes, because they like control. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. And it's amazing, right? You just don't listen. The room is telling you what they want. When 70% of the people are saying the economy, the economy, the economy, and you're still going back to the same thing over and over, and the whole thing is, well, if we can get this thing under control, you're not going to control it the way you think. Learn to control it by living through it and above it. Goodness me. Car Shield. Something you can control is what goes on with your car. And by that, I mean how it's paid for when stuff goes south. Winter, as you know, can freeze everything, including your finances, especially with expensive repairs. That's why I've got Car Shield. I recommend it to everybody. Taking care of a car with Car Shield and their cover repair is so easy. First of all, the Car Shield's administrators, they take care of everything. The expensive paperwork, they handle all of the expensive payments. They do all of that stuff. So you save yourself thousands upon thousands of dollars. It doesn't matter if it's your engine, your transmission, maybe just the inside of your car, the windows don't roll up, the air conditioning, the heating, whatever it is, they've got a plan that's right for you that fits any budget. 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop, and that shop is the shop that you choose, and they get them paid directly. You pay a small deductible. It's simple. Over 1 million drivers have been helped by Car Shield. They're America's #1 auto protection company. So don't waste your time anywhere else. I recommend this highly. Car Shield. It is the best defense against costly repairs. You can put a deep freeze on your plans and finances. Visit carshield.com/Benson to save 10%. carshield.com/Benson. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Check out our Chad Benson Show Facebook page where you can hang out or hang your grievances out to dry. This is Chad Benson.
Tomorrow morning, it'll feel like 5 below. So there are advisories out, especially anybody that works outdoors, because it will be prolonged through the day. Feels like only 2 in Pittsburgh and 2 below in Detroit. But keep your eye on Boston. What we do here is time it through the day so you can see that you stay sub-zero in the feels likes. But even Philadelphia tops out at feeling like 9.
It was 70 yesterday here. It was 70 yesterday. Let me tell you what it was. So we had to handle a bunch of funeral stuff yesterday, and, for my father-in-law passed and stuff. Finally, my wife and my mother-in-law are like, why don't you take my little one, she's crazy and grandma doesn't feel good, obviously. So once you guys go, you should go do something. I said, well, why don't we go? She wants to go because we go golf. We play quick 9 holes, but she likes to feed the ducks everywhere. So we went to feed the ducks, and I was in shorts and a T-shirt. Well, like a golf shirt. It was 70. Just let you guys know that. This is the part of the year where it's like when people go, oh, it's only 83 here in the summer, and you guys are at 114. I'm like, yeah, well, remember that at wintertime. Because I'm indoors most of the day anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But it is nice to go outside in shorts and a T-shirt. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. I watched a football game last night, and whoa. How about them dogs?
Takes an inside handoff to Robinson. Throws to the near side. Intercepted at the 21-yard line. And Keely Ringo bringing it back across midfield. Across the 30. Inside the 20. Ringo scores!
Yeah. So 37 days earlier, Bama boat raced Georgia, who was arguably the best team in college football. Bama said, nah, we're still the Kings. We're it. We're the champs. Don't you forget that. And last night, tough game until that third quarter when it started to loosen up a bit. And then it was slowly but surely. No matter what Alabama did, they couldn't get it in gear. And Georgia wins its first national championship. I'm going to tell you guys something. Think about this, what a dynasty looks like. Georgia won its first national championship. One of the best programs in college football since 1980. Alabama was trying to win their 7th in 13 years. That's a dynasty. Odds are already out from Vegas today. Both of them are favored next year for the national championship. Damn, I know, right? That's crazy. That's college football. That's college football. And the money is massive. I see that, like, now they have the transfer portal, so you don't have to wait a year. It used to be you had to wait a year. So if you were at a college and you were going to go to a D1 school, you were transferring out, you had to wait a year before you could transfer. Now the portal is you get to go play immediately. Well, these players now are listening to, hey, you played great last year in the Big Ten, come to the SEC, and we'll be able to guarantee you $1 million in name and likeness. We'll be able to guarantee you $1 million in money from car dealerships to, Monster Energy drinks or whatever it is for restaurants. We'll guarantee that. That's college kids are going to stick around a little bit longer. Not having to worry so much. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Bob Saget died. We're going to touch on that horrible situation. When you think about it, 65 years young. It was, I think, a shock to a lot of people. Talk a bit about that. A lot of other stuff to get to. We're going to cram it all in. According more economy and predictions for 2022. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
So Bob Saget passed away unexpectedly on Sunday. Tributes pouring in from all over the place, the world of comedy.
I wanted to say a few words about Bob Saget. Read anything about Bob online last night. A word that came up a lot was the sweetest. Bob was the sweetest man. He was so funny, and I'm not talking about Full House or America's Funniest Home Videos or stand-up comedy or movies. I mean funny for real. Like when you walk into a party, you saw Bob and his wife Kelly in the corner, you go straight to them and stay for as long as you could because he had something funny to say about everything and nothing bad to say about anyone.
Jimmy Kimmel last night, unexpected. It was, and it just, I mean, it shows you. They found a few medicine bottles. Apparently, he might have been battling COVID weeks earlier. Don't know, but everything seemed to be okay. Night before, he performed 2 hours, seemed to, be back in the groove, and it's just one of those situations where you look and you're like, wow. And the tributes will keep pouring in because, how young he was. And he was. It's 65. I mean, I read an article this weekend of this guy who is working on living to be basically 150. And the technology and stuff that's behind it. And it was very interesting because one of the things is And the Atlantic says, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you want to? Are you sure? His name's Brian Hanley. He says, I'm a scientist. I'm not going to put a hard number what I expect. My family lifeline's pretty good. And I have an aunt who's in her mid-90s. My father was up shortly before he died, right around there. And he said he was going to the gym at the time. He goes, there's no reason to think I won't hit at least 80. I suspect I'll live beyond that. I put the outside limits on 150 to 60. There's a question about, like, would you want that? Depends, right? Like on everything. What's your life like? If your life is laying there doing nothing, I don't think anybody wants that. If we advance in the world that we live in, where you can comfortably live into your early hundreds and you're still like you're 70, I think people go, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Very much so. I mean, you have no idea how long you might live. I go back, and it's funny. You ever watch I do this all the time. I'll be watching television, and especially because I watch all my old Westerns and Gunsmoke, and I'll Google one of the people that's on there. And I'm like, all right, well, let's see here. I said, this is, it's 1957 or 58. And I'm like, how old was such and such here? Because he looks like he's 80. And then you're like, man, he's younger than me. And we look different. We feel different. We're more active. Way more active. And then sometimes stuff happens. Tragedy. By the way, Bob Saget's two sisters died in their early 40s. So, was there other things, that played into this? Yeah, probably. Could have been a heart issue. Could have been. Could it have been something that, he has done for years, because the rumor was he partied hard and did a lot of stuff. The damage was done in such a way that maybe it was, non-repairable, and it was just a matter of time. It's a possibility. But you ask yourself, what would you sign up for today? Is it, if somebody came to you and said you're going to be 85, but, maybe the last year is kind of a struggle, but the rest of it's going to be great. I think a lot of people go, well, maybe we'll sign up for that. Unless you're 85. And you're like, well, maybe 100. Maybe 100. You don't know. But getting to that point where we as human beings start to think about, seeing the mortality. And since my father-in-law died, his little brother was over. And he's just a great guy. He's just a wonderful, like one of those people you're like, that's a dude right there. And he's just a guy, he's just a nice individual. But, you start to, you think about your mortality, especially over the last 2 years where everything has been, we've been besieged with all of this stuff about death. And if you catch this thing, and people, I think more and more people have thought about it. Hence the reason why, you go and look, and this year, they talk about predictions. It's the year of the worker, but it's also going to be another year of potential great resignations where people are saying, I want to do something else, or I want to move in a different direction, or I want, not just more money, but I want more time with my family. I want more, I want to take care of myself in a better way. Speaking of that, here are some things they're looking at. According to the predictors of the world, by that, these are just economists, geopolitical people, in what they think they see coming up this year. Medium GDP worldwide, 4.5%. China, 5.3%. Eurozone, 4.3%. United States, 4.0%. They're predicting geopolitical tension. It's not hard to, Iran, we got a problem with that. Yeah, that's not a big deal. We already know that. Ukraine, there's tensions there. And Taiwan and China. Absolutely. China's going to struggle at times this year. Why? Well, first of all, they're getting ready to host the Olympics. And as we all know, that's probably not going to go as planned the way that they thought, because they've got, this Omicron and all of this stuff. Nobody really knows what China's all about in their GDP and how they're going. And they're pushing to be a much more of a hardline, old school Maoist kind of China, rather than a little bit more free thinking in the financial world that they were before. They also predict it's the year of the worker, which I think is huge. Hybrid's going to be big again this year. I've talked to two people that are in contract negotiations right now in my industry, and neither of them are asking for money. They're asking for more time off and flexibility. Which is, because I think a lot of people had that. And they're like, that goes back to what I was just talking about. It's huge. NFTs will be big. Web3, you'll start hearing more and more about. Inflation is going to play a huge part in a lot of stuff, whether it collapses or continues to stay strong. Either way, you can't be wrong there. But the year's going to be what we make of it at the end of the day. And not just how we as individuals make of it, how our government, whether at the local level, the state level, or the federal level, allows us to fight through so much of their insanity. And it is insane. This story the other day just sums up everything you need to know about the insanity of what this virus and the way that the media spun it to the point where it was like Ebola meets AIDS meets cancer meets polio. This is a teacher in Texas and what she did to her kid.
A classroom feels to me like it should be an extension of my home.
Beam, seen in this Cypress Fairbanks ISD YouTube video, is a high school English teacher, according to the district, and has been with them since 2011. Court records say the 41-year-old pulled into a Northwest Harris County drive-through testing site on Monday. Court documents go on to say a witness told police she was gathering information from drivers in line waiting to be tested when she came in contact with Beam, who, quote, confirmed that her son, who had tested positive for COVID, was in the trunk of her car.
In the trunk of her car. Think about that. She has lost her mind to the point where her child, who is 13, who's tested positive for COVID, who isn't going to die or get sick or anything horrific happen to him, is in the trunk of her vehicle. Why would you do that? Why?
According to authorities, Beam told the witness a 13-year-old was put there to prevent her from being exposed to COVID while driving. Court records say the witness requested to see the teen. Beam unlatched the trunk, and the child was found lying down. Moments later, that same witness called police.
Yeah, she was arrested. But that's the insanity of what's out there. The insanity of where she teaches human beings, little ones. She teaches young minds. And in teaching these young minds, she is so oblivious to the reality of what this thing is, especially for kids. And she's so worried, which by the sounds of it, she's probably quadruple boosted, wears 12 masks. She put her child in the trunk. She was arrested. She shouldn't be anywhere near children. This isn't one of those things where you're like, hey, guys, we're going to sneak into the movie theater when you hear stories about mom and dad when they were younger and they'd put all their friends would hide in the trunk and stuff because, it was a drive-in and they would drive. It's not like now. It's like, hey, kids, we're going to sneak into the movies. We're going to put you in the trunk and then go to a walk-in theater. No, this is insane. This is insane. It is. What do you expect, though? What do you expect when you hear something like that, right? And then you hear something like this, you hear Sotomayor, who is our, here she is. She is one of our Chief Justice, lying during the mandate hearings that are going on at the Supreme Court. Now, is she lying or is she just so poorly informed as to say something like this?
We have hospitals that are almost at full capacity with people severely ill on ventilators. We have over 100,000 children, which we've never had before, in serious condition.
Not even close. Not even close. Washington Post gave her 4 Pinocchios for that. 4. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Pinocchios. 4 for that. Got to live above this thing. Got to get back to life. Period. Case closed. But when you have people that are so lost and so terrified as to put their child inside of the trunk because the child tested positive for COVID, something that is not going to kill you unless you are extremely unhealthy or elderly. And if you're a child, the chances of you killing are virtually nil. My God, the insanity. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. I like getting fit and healthy. I'm trying to work on it every single day. And much like you guys hear me talk about my supplements I give my dogs, I got something else, right? I use this amazing thing called Longevity. It's a supplement. It's amazing. It's easy. Somewhat like the food, in particular me. You guys know I don't probably get the nutrients I need in the food that I eat because I eat like a 5-year-old. But the reality is the Centers for Disease Control show 76% of adults do not meet fruit intake. Chad. 87% do not meet vegetable intake. Chad. We do what? We eat too much sugar, fat, and carbohydrates. That's the reality. That is absolutely the reality. This is why Longevity for Life's 90 for life. The system was created. 90 essential nutrients. So, right, it's simple and easy. It's taking 90 for life nutrients. And this is what's awesome about it. It's simple and easy, right? It's incredible. The optimal mix of 60 minerals, 60 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and a powerful blend of essential fatty acids has been molded for a ton of years, decades upon decades. And what's it do? It delivers the best nutrition. 90 carefully selects nutrients for your bodies. You're going to feel better. That's what I want you to do. Check it out for yourself. You don't believe me. Go to ChadBensonHealth.com right now. Kickstart true wellness experience, especially this year. And check out these amazing products. I love it. I take it every day. Great energy. Feel better. And it gets me maybe a little bit away from eating all the vegetables I probably should be eating. Again, that's ChadBensonHealth.com or call 855-321-HEALTH. That's 855-321-HEALTH or ChadBensonHealth.com. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
Time out, January. Remember we strategized on how we were going to get off to a good start? Yes, we said don't kill any beloved celebrities. Right, good. We also said no more global diseases. That's why I tried to kill the coronavirus with influenza. Well, guess what happened? What? They joined forces and became Flurona! Flurona?
Which is not real. Yeah, it is. It's Flurona. It's not real. It's not. They didn't come together and join forces, right? This isn't like the Transformers or the Power Rangers, where like they're fighting against against something, and then they decide to join forces, become a bigger robot. But yes, 2022. We were looking at you, and we still are, because we expected better.
Flurona! We also have bird flu in the UK. I've stumbled out the blocks. And another COVID variant in France. 3 new diseases in 6 days. Can I start again? No.
We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. You'd expect. So we have had Peter Bogdanovich, Betty White, right? And Bob Saget. And we've got the Flurona. School's closing. What will we do? Get on with life is what we're going to do. Get on. That's what you do. You get on with life. You don't, it boggles my mind when I see people not doing anything. Now, I'm inherently somebody who doesn't do a lot. I mean, I do a lot. I'm always working, but I'm always laughing at people who've put their selves in a situation. My father-in-law who passed away last week, he was sick. He didn't stop living. And by the way, coronavirus didn't kill. That was the other thing. Oh, did he die of corona? No. Oh, okay. I'm just like, what? It's like, if it's not coronavirus, nobody cares. That's the other insanity. Same thing happened with my grandfather a couple years ago. It was like, if it wasn't coronavirus, nobody cared. You're like, oh, that's weird. Well, no, it's the weird world that we live in. Speaking of the weird world, we've already had one mother who put their child in the trunk of the car, fearing she could get COVID. Now we've got a worse mother.
3 people going through a trash bin behind a business in Hobbs, New Mexico made the call before 8 p.m.
Hello, 911?
Yes, we just found the baby in the trash, and he is still alive, I believe. He looks pretty good.
Surveillance video led to 18-year-old Alexis Avila, who admitted to giving birth earlier that day. Acting Hobbs Police Chief August Fons.
She further explained that she panicked, did not know what to do or who to call.
So she put the baby in a trash bag and tossed it into the bin. The infant is recovering as prosecutors determine charges to be filed.
That's a super late term abortion she was trying there? Oh, Chad, I'm just serious. Wasn't that attempted murder? Wouldn't that what that be? I'm just curious. I mean, you threw a child away. I would feel like that'd be, but they're going to come up with mentally she wasn't there. My goodness me. Every day. I would think that people couldn't shock me more, and then I'm like, nah, hold my beer. They're going to do something. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet and text Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
America has moved on from Omicron and COVID, according to the latest polls. Number one thing, the leader in the clubhouse. The thing that's always the leader. The economy. Now, COVID plays a part in it. Actually, COVID doesn't. People say, oh, COVID plays a part in this. It's a big thing. No, it doesn't. It's the reaction to COVID that plays a part. The reaction of COVID that plays a massive role in all of this. It's not COVID itself. If your state's like, hey, look, guys, we're going to learn to live with this thing. I mean, the UK is rolling out a learn to live with COVID plan. We're going to learn to live with COVID. Yeah, like we live with everything else. Before this, did you ever think, flu, cold, SARS? No, you just lived your life, and if you caught something, you're like, I stay home for a couple days, or you went to work and you toughed it out. We all got on with it. Well, this is different, Chad. How's it different? Because of the mortality. You start to look at the mortality rate. I'll be honest with you. Think about this for a second. How many people don't get tested? They're like, I don't feel good. I'll stay home for a couple days. How many people get tested at home with their home test and they're like test positive and they're like, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to go to work. I'll just tell them I got it. But they're not reporting it to anybody. The asymptomatics is up to 40% of people. If you break the numbers down, for real, for absolute real, not pretend, not the stat porn that they throw at you, I bet you this is closer, if not even below the flu. Well, Chad, that is impossible because everybody who gets it dies. No, it's not true. It's not. Case in point, CDC Director Rochelle Walensky.
The overwhelming number of deaths, over 75%, occurred in people who had at least 4 comorbidities. So really, these are people who were unwell to begin with.
What? And that's the overwhelming deaths. That's not counting the 2, the 3, the age, all of those things. All of those. We've moved on. You know what people are worried about, pissed about? Oh, inflation.
Now I hear Republicans say today that my talking about this strong record shows that I don't understand. I don't understand. A lot of people are still suffering, they say. Well, they are. Or that I'm not focused on inflation. Malarkey.
Nah, malarkey. That's... Nobody hears it. Nobody does. How many? I don't hear them talking about it. Today, what's the big thing they're talking about? Voter rights, right? Because Biden is still trying to live off what took place January 6th a year ago. He's trying to catch some momentum when the reality is it fell flat. Nobody's paying attention. They're looking at how much it costs to fill up their gas tank. They're looking about how much it costs to pay for food. They're looking at the fact that winter's here and heating prices are going up. Oil is vacillating again, and we could see another opportunity for oil to make a rise when all of a sudden we look and guess what's happening with gas prices, yada yada.
In the past week, the average price of regular unleaded in the U.S. inching up from $3.28 a gallon to nearly $3.30 a gallon, according to new data from the Energy Department. Almost $1 higher compared to this time last year. The cheapest gas right now is along the Gulf Coast at $2.92 a gallon. The most expensive, as is normally the case, California is at $4.50 a gallon for regular unleaded. Stone, ABC News.
That's a lot. Yeah, it is. So people care about it at this moment in time. Is my kid's school going to be open tomorrow? Are they going to do something weird? One person got it in a class, your child saying, we're going to shut the school down for 6 months. Chad, they're not doing that. No. But they could if they would. Chicago's back, right? The Chicago School District, they're back. But what did they have to do? There was negotiations to get them back in the classroom. Negotiations for what? Tomorrow they're going to come back. What kind of negotiations are we having? Like, what exactly are you guys negotiating? I thought this was based on isn't this based on Omicron and positivity testing and stuff? Why are we negotiating? Shouldn't there have been something that says, look, if it gets above this positivity, we'd like to do, we'd like the kids not to learn at home. And if it stays below that, we'd like them to come to school and not learn here. That's possible. I don't think it's very nice, Chad. But they're negotiating. What are you guys negotiating? I'm curious. Well, they're mad because she bullied the teachers. She didn't bully the teachers. She's kowtowed to the teachers. But she also looks around and says, parents have had enough of this crap, right? Parents have absolutely had enough of this. 100%. They wanted KN95 masks for staff and students, beef up contact tracing, opt-out testing, a provision that we're not able to secure. So wait, you want opt-out testing? It's just a game. People are pissed. That's what people are worried about. They're looking around, going, how much is, wait, what? Gas prices going up again? How much did this thing cost over here? Are you kidding me? Used cars cost more than when they were bought? Yeah, people are feeling it. That's why the economy is always number one. It's the economy stupid, the economy stupid, the economy stupid. Biden came in with the, hey, I'm going to fix everything. I'm going to get rid of COVID. Sucker. I got this. I gave him $14 trillion. Remember that when he was whispering? I got you COVID now. You're trying to control something that is nature. You're not going to control it. You're not. So you avoid the inflation worries from people. Malarkey. No, not malarkey. It's the reality of it. You talk about how this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, but make everybody suffer. And the unvaccinated aren't worried about being unvaccinated. And the vaccinated people, many of them are over it. More and more. Latest poll. That's it. You guys have 2, maybe 3 shots. We're done. We're moving on with our lives. Today, he's going to give a speech about voting rights. About voting rights.
There's a couple of different audiences for President Biden tomorrow. One is the American people, who he still hopes to educate on the issues and put pressure on their elected representatives. A second important constituency, frankly, it's Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, the 2 Democratic senators we've talked so much about over the past year. They don't believe that the Senate rules should change. And the only way, realistically speaking, that these laws pass the Senate is if those rules change.
Yeah, and they're not. And why is that? Simple. It's simple. Because the only way they're going to get through isn't through 60 because they don't have the votes. So they're going to want to change the filibuster. Let's change the rules. Let's blow out the filibuster and basically make it majority. And you've got two people that are standing in the way of that saying no, 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 which is mightily important, kids. I'm telling you guys that right now. The two most important Republicans are Democrats. Manchin and Sinema. Those are the two most important Republicans. And that sounds weird. Manchin, he's in a red state. And he's managed to survive all of these years in a red state as a Democrat by understanding what his constituents want. But I think he understands a bit of the Constitution and some of the rules that go into certain things. But he's also a corporatist. That's also a bit there, too. But he's not a fan of getting rid of the filibuster. And on the other side, Kyrsten Sinema has been an enigma. Democrats don't know what to do with her. And for those of you who don't know who she is 10 years ago, she would have made AOC look like a conservative Democrat. But as she got older, she matured. And as she matured and got out into the real world, she started to realize, no. Right or left, they care about the economy. Right or left, they care about immigration. She starts looking at all of these things, and she is probably the most independent thinking of them all. And a hell of a fundraiser. But the filibuster? Getting rid of that. Remember, they did the nuclear option when it came to justices. Harry Reid did that. And everybody said, we're going to rue the day. But everybody uses it. Right? It only takes one time to get it through. And everybody's like, oh, we shouldn't do that. It's like when you hear scientists like, you shouldn't be playing God trying to bring back a woolly mammoth. You did it? Let's bring back a Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's what happens. Well, they've already done it, so it's too late now. That genie comes out of the bottle. It's not going back in. But this is the big thing. This is the next big thing. And they're trying to play off of what they're seeing out there in their base. Because January 6th went off without... didn't do all the things they want. And COVID right now, as they head into this, this election season, the reality is, as COVID is destroying this presidency.
As COVID goes, so goes Joe Biden's presidency. And right now, COVID is a major health and political problem. The public is in a different place, though, than it was a year ago. And the Biden administration is desperately trying to catch up. The CDC has offered confusing and at sometimes contradictory advice. The Supreme Court seems skeptical about the best tool in Biden's toolbox, the vaccine mandates. And stay-at-home guidelines and school closures have given us a feeling of a recurring nightmare.
Yeah. Inflation, porous immigration, a half-ass foreign policy plan, an economy that's stumbling and bumbling, school nightmare, the pullout in Afghanistan. He is a weight around their neck. So they go back to the playbook, which was the big lie, and we'll pull this out, and we'll do this, and this will be the big thing. People are like, nah, you know what? We got other stuff going on. Why is my gas ridiculously high? What can you do about that to ease the pain? Just out of curiosity, have you made that phone call yet? That's all he wants. You want to make that phone call to OPEC? To MBS? Okay. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Calibrate, new year, new you. Simple and easy. I've got several listeners who are doing it. It is the easiest thing they said they have ever done. It's not about traditional diets because we all know what happens. People go to extremes, doesn't work. In so much of what this is your biology. Your body gets to a place where it's set and you feel comfortable and it stays in and around there. And then it just stays there. Even if you lose some weight, you gain it back really quick because your body felt comfortable there. Well, Calibrate's different. Comprehensive, doctor-guided metabolic reset promotes sustainable results through lifestyle changes and a simple, easy FDA-approved medication. It's that simple. And I'm telling you guys, you get one-on-one video coaching, in-app tracking, community members like you, medical care with a doctor's visit on the video. It's so simple. On average, 14% is what the Calibrate members lost. 14% of their body weight. That is huge. 20 years of research show that the combination of GLP-1 medication and coaching can improve metabolic health. The Reset is awesome. It fits into anybody's lifestyle, anybody's schedule, and it's not about giant crashes, diets, and it is a simple, easy thing to do. Your weight doesn't reflect your willpower. Get back in control. $50 off right now. 1 year metabolic reset when you use promo code Chad at joincalibrate.com. That's promo code Chad at joincalibrate.com to save big. Promo code Chad at joincalibrate.com. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let us find out what's trending, baby. We'll start over there in the Google land. Maya Angelou becomes the first black woman to appear on a U.S. court. Went into circulation yesterday. Alabama and Georgia, number one thing being searched. 10 million in the last 24 hours. Everything from how did it end to, where to stream, all of that stuff. Snake, why? If you've not seen the mink drag an enormous snake across the road in Florida, it's rather interesting. Minks are tough SOBs. Robert Durst dies. God, he was the subject of that HBO special. Just a weirdo. A lot of people died around him, and he was eventually convicted, and he died in jail. So, just, ugh. Good riddance to awful, 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 awful people. Supreme Court ruling. Trending right now. Why? Because if you listen to any of the hearings or if you read into any of this stuff, the reality is simply this. Judging by the questions being asked, they're going to shoot down Biden's mandate. Head over to Twitter. Georgia, Alabama, both trending. Bill Maher is trending as well because while he's liberal, he's not insane. We'll touch on that in a little bit. Did a very interesting interview with a paper from Alabama. What? Yeah. How about that? That's crazy. He talked to somebody that wasn't a liberal paper? Yeah, because he's not nuts. People are weighing in on Barstool's power rankings, of which we will do here in a little bit, of the 10 top singers of all time. I don't know if I believe in 90% of these. There's a few in here, though, that I could get behind, but no. And people are a little pissed because where the hell is Freddie Mercury and all of that? Totally understandable. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You cannot start a conversation of the greatest singers of all time and not have Freddie Mercury in it. Not have Freddie. If you're telling me, Freddie's not in it, then I'm saying it's not real. Unless it's a Latin rock. Otherwise, or German. But no, it's not real. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Talk a bit about why Bill Maher's trending. Exercise is not just good for the body, good for the brain as well. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The economy's stupid. Inflation, going to be raising rates. You're already seeing mortgage rates have started to creep up. It's the economy. People care about that. They do. Last couple of days, the passing of my father-in-law, I've been doing a lot of stuff, and people I talk to and some of the places that I've been, it's the number one overriding thing. It's funny. Isn't COVID. It's a reaction to COVID. It's the economy and schools. Schools are big. Schools are absolutely big. And that's going to be a huge thing this voting season. It's going to be massive. I mean, you got to think about this. They're looking at Glenn Youngkin, and they're saying to themselves, he won Virginia, and how did he do it? Did it simply by, we're not going to have any more lockdowns, and more this chaos and craziness, and schools. And what has brought this to the forefront in so many ways, wokeism's one of them. Let's not pretend it's not. The second thing is parents watching their kids sit home for 18 months and feeling like the unions had more power in a lot of places than the kids and the teachers did. And they're frustrated. And they're angry. And that's going to cause serious issues. It's going to cause some serious issues for Democrats when you add everything else in. I mean, it's nothing. Remote learning is a joke. It works on a singular basis. I did remote learning when I was a kid because I played soccer. I trained all day. It's kind of what I did. It was a one-off. My little brother, Tristan, who is now a coach, but he was in the minor leagues until he had one too many concussions, which really, with Tristan, God bless him, one was always too many. But his entire team was remote learning. It was much different. It was a much different thing. The way it was set up, it was remote learning, get your work done. It was meant to be a one-on-one. It wasn't meant for the masses. And you look at how bad not only the grades have been, we have kids that are 2 years behind. My stepdaughters, one of them held up okay. The other one, not so much. My son, Jack, because his mother is a big proponent, she's able to work at home. He had everything he needs when he came out here. His school, which was a STEM school, did a pretty damn good job. They were forward-thinking outside of everybody else. They had designed some programs. But comparatively to a lot of other kids, including my little brothers, who are my adopted little brothers, he is so far ahead of them. But across the board, it has just not been good. It's not been. So you got the economy and schools are huge drivers coming up in this election. And schools are bigger than I think people realize.
Parents, understandably, are having a hard time dealing with remote learning. So many parents have to work. Teachers and others who work at schools are saying, but wait a second, we're just not sure that it's safe and we don't have the staffing. How do we balance that out?
So first of all, remote learning has been a disaster for America's kids, and I think we have to acknowledge that, and we have to do everything we can to minimize any further remote learning.
Yeah. Chicago went on it. That's Dr. Jha right there talking, it was with Jake Tapper and Sanjay in George Stephanopoulos. He says it great. Let's be honest. It sucked. It was awful. You got school districts closing down in bits and places across, and some of it has nothing to do with the union. Some of it is the fact that there's no staffing. There's zero staffing. You can't blame a school if they have no staffing. But again, it goes back to that reaction. It goes back to I think if you asked 100 parents, hey, the teacher is asymptomatic, but she was boosted or he was boosted. He's got his shots, whatever it is. When they say that he's got his shots, it makes it sound like he's done. He's got his shots. And would you send your kid to school? Well, I think most parents would be like, yeah, that's fine. I'm not really worried about it. The reaction of this has been insane. And the thought of going back out and potentially back into a situation where there's going to be stop-start throughout the year this is a no-go.
Look, I understand teachers' frustrations. A lot of school districts did not use the billions of dollars that they had gotten to put in improvements in ventilation and other upgrades. So the question is, can you still have school in the middle of a surge? And the answer is you can. Because if people are vaccinated, teachers should be all vaccinated and boosted. If people wear high-quality masks, even without those other upgrades, which I would like to see, it still is safe for kids and teachers to be back in school. So I think at this point, there's really no good explanation for having remote schools.
Yeah, no good explanation. Doesn't mean that it won't happen. We saw that with Chicago.
What leverage do you have? How can you force this to happen? Or are you a little bit at the whim of the teachers union?
Well, the leverage I think we have is that we've got the will of the people. Parents are outraged, and they are making their outrage known. This is an unprecedented level of parent activism. I'm all in support of returning to in-person learning, and we know why. We live in a district where 70% or more of our kids qualify for free or reduced lunch.
Oh, yeah, but why should we care, right? It's the unions. When you give in to the unions, as you have done, whose issue is that, Lori Lightfoot? It goes back to when you see these Democrats. This is the funny thing. This is their own eating their own. So you have Democrats who kowtow to the unions and give in to the unions, who then say, we're all about the people, in particular, the poor, the downtrodden, et cetera, minority communities. You have how many kids and families who get assistance when it comes to food and who don't have good Wi-Fi in many areas, who don't have access to other things. And so when you go and you shut down schools again, who do you hurt? You hurt the potential voters and constituents. So now she's got to figure out how she gets them back out. They're going to be back there tomorrow, but still. The damage over the last 18 months is real.
Let me point out that the devastating impact is going to be generational. The system's lost 25,000 students just during COVID alone. This is a district that has now lost enrollment for 18 consecutive years. So you're doing generational damage. The Archdiocese has been open all year. What the union is demanding is not only a shutdown again for a number of days. I don't know the exact date, but they also want these new standards that would make it much easier to disrupt instruction during the course of the year. So they're doing serious damage.
Yeah. So it wasn't, they're coming back Wednesday, tomorrow. But the new things they put in place have given people the opportunity to say, we got to pause here, pause there. Generational damage. If you don't think that this is going to play a part next year, from schools to the economy, rising inflation, you're fooling yourself. And not just schools as the start-stop with COVID, but you've got the worry of CRT. Well, Chad, that stuff doesn't happen. Yes, it does. It does. I've seen it with my little brother's school. I've seen the way they're stressed. And again, it goes back to, people always say, so you oppose being taught certain things? No, I think, look, as long as kids are being taught in a way that represents their age group, right? Let's not teach above who they are, give them understanding, teach all sides. But if you don't think that goes on, that's like saying that, preschool teachers wouldn't want their kids to understand that they're non-binary.
So I'm a non-binary preschool teacher, and my kids know I'm non-binary. They know I'm not a girl or a boy. I use they, them pronouns in the classroom. We work on it. Not all the kids get it. That's okay. And I go by Mix Gray in the classroom, not Miss or Mr. Mix.
You're not a teacher, you're an activist. I'm a non-binary. Not all the kids get it. Why would they get it? Most adults have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
And today, one of the kids goes, hey, we've got 2 boy teachers in the classroom because the other teacher in the classroom at the time was a guy. And I go, no, there's not. I'm not a girl or a boy, remember? And she goes, oh my God, wait, does that mean you're dead? So I think I'm going to change all my gender settings to dead.
You're a non-binary preschool teacher. My daughter's 3. If my daughter comes home and says our teacher goes by 12 different names, I'll be like, we're going to find a new school. It's just the stupidest thing in the world. I'm non-binary. I wear dresses all day and makeup, but sometimes I feel like I have a wiener. I don't know can I say that, Phil? Was that bad?
It's funny.
Oh, okay. Oh, my goodness. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. That's the insanity of which we live. That's it. Don't think that schools aren't going to play a major role. Oh, hell yeah, they are. Bill Maher, we're going to talk about him in a second. Old school liberal, and he's come under, fire over the last several months with, the left, the woke people. But he's out on tour. And he, spoke to, newspaper in Alabama talking about the tour, talking about who's coming to his shows. It's very interesting. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. RUFFgreens.com/Chad. Free bag of Rough Greens for your pup. All you have to do is cover the cost of shipping. What is Rough Greens? It's a supplement, goes right on top of your dog's food. Vitamins, minerals, probiotic, all these amazing things. Helps with their digestive system, helps with their coat, helps with their skin, but it also helps with their aches and pains. And my dog Doodle got older, his aches and pains were evident. Guess what? He's healthier and happier than he's ever been, and he's living his best life. Now is your chance to get a bag for free. You just cover the cost of shipping. You will not be disappointed, neither will your dog. My dog Doodle is truly, I can't believe he's still alive, because he was much older than they said he was when we adopted him. And the pain he was in, we thought we were going to have to put him down. 2 years later, he's happier and healthier than ever before, and his energy is through the roof. RUFFgreens.com/Chad. Get your free bag now, or call 833-MY-DOG-77. 833-MY-DOG-77. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
Bill Maher, he's coming to the eye of a lot of the left. And a lot of it came back to, you go back to November, he was on with Jake Tapper, and he basically told Jake Tapper, hey, the Democrats are absolutely toxic. Why are we toxic? Because you're the party of no common sense. And he gave a great interview with AL, which is Alabama newspaper. And he's talking about all of his recent shows he's done throughout the South, and it's very interesting when he talks about this stuff that he said, look, we got a bunch of people in the room who don't agree on a lot of stuff, right? And when I say something about the right, you hear some groans. When I say something about the left, you hear some groans. But at the end of the day, 99% of it was laughter, and we need to get back to that. And I think it's absolutely right. I think we do. It's one of those things where, if you ever tried to start a relationship where you just go in there and go, let's talk about all the things we don't agree on, rather than say, hey, there's 1,000 things out there. We're not going to agree on maybe 100 of them, but there's 900 ones that we do agree on. And a majority of the ones that we don't are very small. There might be a few biggies in there, right? And for some people, right, guns rights, abortion, things, but the reality is we've got to get back to a place in our country, in our time, where we're a little bit more together than apart. We're never going to be fully together. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's just not. I mean, we're always going to have the right and the left. We're always going to have people who disagree about something against these people over here who are disagreeing about something else. That is always going to take place. But we do, and by that I mean a vast majority of the nation, 85, 90% of it, have a real belief in a lot of the same ideals. They want their kids to be happy and have an opportunity. They want to go to safe schools. They want to have an opportunity to earn a living without government coming in and screwing around and jacking everything up. We can start checking off the boxes here of so much of what we want for the same. Doesn't mean we're going to be the same people. Doesn't mean we're going to laugh and everything's going to be, rainbows and Skittles. But the reality is there's so much of that. And I think so much of it does start with being able to have a sense of humor. I go back to that book about Lenin. Not John, but Vladimir. And one of the things to talk about is the communist back in the day, right? Here they come in and they destroy everything and they get rid of the czar and all of this stuff. And one of the things to talk about is there was no sense of humor. They had no time for humor. They talked about there's no time. Well, if there's not time for that, there's going to be time for nothing. And they said people talked about the years they spent with Lenin, and he never once laughed. It's like, you can't have that. You can't. I think so much of what it is brings it together. It does. But in the woke world of insanity, it's tough. It's tough. It is. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Novak Djokovic, we've got an update. He's the tennis player.
Top-ranked tennis star Novak Djokovic has won a legal battle in court. A judge in Melbourne rejected the cancellation of Djokovic's visa and ordered him to be released from immigration detention. The ruling comes ahead of the Australian Open and less than a week after Djokovic's visa was cancelled on arriving in Australia for allegedly not meeting vaccination requirements for entry.
Yeah, so this is the way I think this is going to go, because now they're coming after him in a different way. So he could see jail time because he lied about have you traveled or will you travel in the 14 days prior to your flight to Australia? He checked no, but he went from Monte Carlo to Serbia. They're looking. And I think what really happened is they told him he could play. They gave him a vaccine pass, if you will. Then the country got pissed and upset. Then they yanked it back from him and said, how dare you? And now they're trying to figure out other ways to come after this guy. Look, he's an odd bird. There's no doubt about that. But did he really? He went to Serbia. That's where he's from. He went to Spain. He's a pro tennis player. What do you think? He was staying inside his house for 2 weeks? It wasn't going to happen. Did everybody else? Well, they're all. It's just. You gave him a pass, then you got caught giving him a pass. Now you've turned it around and made it seem like he was this evil dude. This is where we are. The Novak's world. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text said programs to Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Number one thing people worry about. It's COVID. It's not COVID. It's Omicron. Same thing. It's COVID. It's the economy. Talk about it. Inflation. It's going up. Screw it up. It's the year of the worker. It's great. Fantastic. People need to earn more money. That's a good thing. Workers right now have the upper hand. Strike while the iron's hot. You may never get another chance to strike like you can now. You just can't. Where I live, small little town. I always joke. I call my little area the Valley of the Dirt People. There's lots of dirt, lots of desert, We've got a nice golf course, but it's also a little secluded, bit out there, halfway between Tucson and Phoenix. I've seen a couple restaurants in the last couple weeks where they've been closed. They don't have enough staff. They don't have enough staff at all. And it's not because there's an outbreak of COVID. It's just they don't have enough staff. Opportunity's there right now. Strike while the iron's hot. You know, the media would have you believe that the biggest thing in the last several weeks is not the Omicron, which is can we just all admit it's nothing? It's absolutely nothing.
Think of it in terms of a common cold season. This is a bad cold season, and it's going around, and it doesn't matter if you've had the flu vaccine or the HPV vaccine or the anthrax vaccine. It's going to infect people regardless of their vaccination status. And the good news is that it's mild, and the good news is that it's displacing a more dangerous virus on a population level. That's amazing news given the possibilities.
Yeah, so there you go. There you go. Fantastic, right? That's what's out there. Ready to move on. Let's do it. It's the economy, stupid. People are still looking around going, how in God's name is gas prices starting to rise again? What is this about?
In the past week, the average price of regular unleaded in the U.S. inching up from $3.28 a gallon to nearly $3.30 a gallon, according to new data from the Energy Department. Almost a buck higher compared to this time last year. The cheapest gas right now is along the Gulf Coast at $2.92 a gallon. The most expensive, as is normally the case, California is at $4.50 a gallon for regular unleaded.
Yeah.
Alex Stone, ABC News.
Yeah, that's going to continue to see a rise over and over again. Why? Because we've got a nightmare that is still going on with OPEC playing this game. You've got higher energy prices being dragged along because of a cool winter that's heading in. As soon as we get through this, we'll be heading to summer. We usually start to see a little bit of surge in prices anyway. You're going to have blends changing, all of this stuff. You've got inflation. That's what people are talking about. The kids, are we going to be back at school? We don't know. Maybe for a day, for a half a day. Maybe not at all. All of these things are frustrating people. And we've got a presidency that has been an absolute disaster for the last year. Let's be real. He didn't fix coronavirus, which I never once expected him to fix coronavirus. You know, I know he came as we're going to beat this, and we're going to beat this. When he whispers, no, you're not going to beat something like this. You're just not. You're going to have to learn to live above it. And the economy now is ready for that. You and I are ready for that. You and I are sick and tired of going out and having to wait 35, 40 minutes to get a seat, not because the restaurant's super busy, because they have two people there. Or because the other night, went out to dinner about 2 weeks ago. Sit down, and it's like, hey, here's all the things we don't have. You're like, what? Yeah. So you have none of this? No. You're like, oh. People are over it. They're over it. And the president, well, he'll tell you otherwise.
Now I hear Republicans say today that my talking about this strong record shows that I don't understand. I don't understand. A lot of people are still suffering, they say. Well, they are. Or that I'm not focused on inflation. Malarkey.
Malarkey. Settle down. Gas prices. Oil through the roof. The potential for oil. Still, they're saying, hey, we could see oil hit record numbers in the summer. $82 right now. $82. OPEC tightening supply. What's the phone call you make? MBS. We don't want to call Saudi Arabia. So wait, let me get this right. We'll sell them over $500 million in weapons, but you won't make a phone call because you don't like what he did to a journalist, which we all agree was awful and horrible and vile and disgusting. People are over it. If you've never seen the movie Lord of War, it's an interesting movie. It's actually, it's my favorite actor. It's Nick Cage. You can't go wrong with Nicolas Cage movie. But the end of the movie is brilliant. I won't give it away, but let's just say he essentially tells the guy that has arrested him that sometimes the president's got to rub shoulders with people he doesn't like. And so other people have to do the dirty work behind. And that's just it. Little things can go a long way. China's rising. What are you doing about that? They're spying on us more than we could ever imagine. It's scary. It's bad enough we have to worry about Facebook and Amazon. We were just talking earlier. Because Maya Angelou is... she's on a quarter. She's the first black woman to be on the quarter. And it went into circulation yesterday, right? So this is the crazy. Producer Anthony's at home. He types something in, and up pops this thing for quarters. He didn't type it in. He didn't look for any of that. He never searched any of that stuff. It's like we're already worried about everything spying on us. China's doing that. What are you going to do? Iran, what are they going to do there? Questions that you have to answer, not to mention the border, and then you've got the economy. And the economy isn't going to be based on the economy is going to be based on what happens in COVID. No, the economy is going to be based on what happens to the reaction of COVID. By that, I mean schools shut down. Well, that's going to affect parents because they can't go to work. And who does it hurt? Disproportionately. It hurts the poor and the lower middle class. The upper middle class, you got a white-collar job. I got to do my job from home. You got 12 internets, and you got every kid's got a computer. I mean, look, I'm blessed. I work my ass off, but I'm blessed. But, there's times our house looks like an electronics store. You know what our kids find the most fascinating thing for Christmas? We got one of those old arcade games. It's got a bunch of games on it. They find that the most fascinating. This elementary and crude graphics, what are these things? Playing Galgum. Like, it's the greatest game of all time. It's what it is. Shut up. But if you've got one computer for 4 kids and your kids are at home and your internet's not very good, how's that help anybody? And you're home? Because you had to take the day off of work? All of it ends up to the reaction of COVID. And the economy is going to be the same way. Some economies are going to thrive, and you're seeing that. Some are going to starve. Some are going to struggle. It's crazy. This is Ron DeSantis talking about red and blue.
My net migration since COVID, the influx is going to red states almost exclusively. Texas, Florida, Tennessee, you name it. The exodus is going from the deep blue states, California, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, and it's like clockwork. People vote with their feet, and I think people are more sensitive than ever to the type of government that they would live under and the type of policies that they would live under.
Yeah. People want that. They want freedom. They want to be able to breathe. And COVID has shown so much of that. COVID has. And now you're seeing it ever so much when it comes to even the fact that when people are running, you get to see what kind of charlatans are out there who last year when they weren't running for anything and their position was pretty safe, they shut everything down in a heartbeat. This year, even with rising cases, they're like, we can't shut stuff down. I'm running for re-election. People are moving from high-taxed states to low-tax, more freedom states.
Because I think COVID really crystallized that, because you find yourself in some parts of the country living under a governor who's just issuing these dictates, who's denying your freedom, denying your livelihood, job, education potentially. They realize, I think, how important it is to have a political culture and political leadership that respect and preserve freedom and their ability to live a good life.
100% right. 100% right. Ron DeSantis there. For all the crap that for my local show, my on-air partner gives the governor here, my frustration with him is the fact that he never seemed to participate in anything that went on with COVID. He stopped having press conferences. Nobody ever saw from him. But the reality is the time you did see him, he was fighting back and forth to not shut things down, to do certain things. Well, teachers should be, and people should. The reality is being open is real, and it's helped. And people want to live a normal life. And the economy is above all number one, as it pretty much always is, and there's a reason for that. Because as goes the economy, so goes many of us. Yes, health is important, but this thing has been overstated. It has been overblown at times, and you can't deny it. And now that they're becoming more transparent about it, I think more and more people are beyond frustrated, as they should be. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter, your Instagram, your Getter, MyPillow right now. 40% off. Don't have cold feet. Get yourself some My Slippers. 2 years in development, and it ensures the best, highest comfort and quality you're ever going to find. You can wear them indoors, outdoors, all the time. Moccasin or slip-in style, so slip-on style. Tons of colors. And the beauty of the new My Slipper is it comes, you get this great leather suede, but there's a 3-tier cushioning system. You've got memory foam, impact gel, and the MyPillow patented feel, and it is incredible. Limited time, 40% off My Slippers. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener square, enter promo code Benson right there, or call 800-983-4975, 800-983-4975. Deep discounts on all the MyPillow products, but grab these My Slippers right now. You will love, love, love them. 800-983-4975 or MyPillow.com. Use the promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
I can't take it anymore!
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
President today is going to be trying to get people excited about voting rights, and I don't think he's going to do anything. I don't think it's really exciting anybody. People are looking around. They're thinking the economy, stupid. What am I going to do with my business? How am I going to get my stuff? What's going on with the supply chain? Rising cost of gas in California hurts who? Anyone? Anyone? Everybody. It's already more expensive to operate in California, in particular with truck drivers who won't go. One of the reasons they have some issues with moving stuff from point A to point B is the fact that truck drivers don't want to drive there. If the special stuff for their truck, it's a pain in the ass. They want to drive there. Rising cost of gas. He's going out. He's talking about voting reform. Look, that's a very serious thing. Understand that. We live in the now. We live in the today moment. And if anything has taught us that over the last 2 years is the fact that we've seen people lose everything. We've some people do well. We've seen kids lose 2 years of their lives. When it comes to school, what's the greatest currency in the history of the world? Time. What's the one thing you can never get? You can lose wealth and regain it. You're not losing time and getting it back. You don't get to be 10 all over again. You don't. But yeah, there's issues when it comes to voting rights that want to be discussed. And he's urging, in particular, two people, to Manchin and Sinema, to forego the filibuster, get rid of it so they can get some voting rights, because they're afraid that, hey, once the majority, which probably is going to happen this year, gets in there, then voting rights could be pushed off for a long time.
Democrats have to be concerned, and Republicans are already talking about the things that they might do if they had a united government and just a simple majority in the Senate, the kind of conservative legislation. Frankly, they could undo a lot of the things that Democrats are doing right now just as easily if it's just a 50-vote majority that carries things in the Senate.
And that's the fear of getting rid of the filibuster. You get rid of the filibuster, it's a 50% majority. It's not 60%. It's not 60. And now and the potential, too, this is the other thing. So they go out there, and voting rights is a real issue. I think there's a lot of things we need to look at when it comes to voting rights and how we not only protect them, we make it easier in some ways to vote, but also let's ask some people. There's nothing wrong with showing an ID somewhere. I'm fine with having, have a weekend to vote, right? 4-day weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Asking somebody to write their license down or something on their voting thing when you mail it in, that's not racist. There's a lot of things we should do better when it comes to this, but some of it's such knee-jerk reaction because it plays well. But you're already preaching to a choir that believes in you. What you need is independence. There's a great article and a study that we're going to go over tomorrow, but I'll just give you a little bit of this. As a nation, we're becoming more liberal. So our ideas are becoming more liberal. As a nation, we're voting more conservative. Soak that up. In some ways, we're more liberal than others. In other ways, we're voting more conservatively and voting more Republicans in. Part of that goes back to what Bill Maher said, which is they have become the party of no common sense. Always trying to please a base. I get it in some ways. Every once in a while, you got to go throw them red meat. But the reality is what gets you over the finish line isn't the people that are always going to be with you. It's the people that jump from side to side. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text said program. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I love these headlines. I do. Mother says she couldn't book ticket for child because of Delta Airlines' lack of non-binary gender options. Chad, it's very important to people. They're non-binary. Do they have a name? Do they? Well, yeah. Their name is whatever. Linda? Can you have that? Can you still have that? What if your name is Derek, but you're non-binary, but you still go by Derek? What if that's the option? And some of these people who tweet is hilarious. But as it stands, at least with @Delta, hashtag non-binary people are not allowed to fly. The supervisor said that's not true. When the policy makes it impossible to buy a ticket that will comport with the TSA guidelines, the result is the same, and that's discrimination. Hashtag LGBTQ plus HR 14 times 989er. So funny. Chad, it's not. Look, every once in a while, if you really need to get on that plane, why don't they do this? How about this one? Let's solve this, because everybody really needs to have their own X marks the spot. How about this? Name, okay, name, full name on your license, right? Not the one that you want to give yourself because you read a Harry Potter novel and you want to be called Voldemort or whatever. Just whatever your name is. And what were you assigned at birth? In the conveyor belt in your mom's womb. Men can have children too. Okay, but back to reality. What were you assigned at birth? I love those commercials. Do not use this if you were assigned female at birth. Chad, that's not, you're being a meanie. You are. Just not really being a meanie. I'm just saying.
So I'm a non-binary preschool teacher, and my kids know I'm non-binary. They know I'm not a girl or a boy. I use they, them pronouns in the classroom. We work on it. Not all the kids get it. That's okay. And I go by Mix Gray in the classroom, not Miss or Mr. Mix.
Mix Gray. What'd you say, Phil?
That always got me about assigned female at birth. Is that like the Sorting Hat in Harry Potter?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. You're assigned something. Like when I'm a kid and you go to school, or when you're a kid and you're like, okay, you've been assigned this homework, or you've been assigned this teacher, or but what? So ridiculous. She's assigned. Oh, enough of this crap. What's your name? My name's Linda. Linda Smith. Okay, Linda, I'm going to go with you were probably assigned female. Maybe you were assigned male. I don't care. But on this particular flying thing, you're going to have to pick a side. Oh, good God. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Every time I hear stuff like that or read stuff like that, you know what I say? This is why Trump. Wokeism is insanity. And it doesn't have to be Trump again. Enough people on both sides of the aisle are standing up. The exhausted majority, people like you and me. Great that you're non-binary. I don't care. Just tell me your name. We're going to live with that. And if you change your name tomorrow, you get one name change. Okay? You get one, that's it. And I'm not talking about a stage name. I'm talking about today you feel like Linda, and tomorrow you feel more like Derek. And then the next day you're back to being Linda for a couple months, and then you're Derek again. You get a lane, and you choose it, and you go with it. But enough people, all of us out there, are sick and tired of it. The incrementalism. I heard my buddy say that. Incrementalism. It's the old saying about, the boiling of a frog. Put it in hot water, jumps out. Put it in cold water, slowly turn up the heat. It acclimates itself incrementally through that, and eventually it boils itself to death. That's what's happening. It's the insanity. I can't fly because my child is not binary. Oh, goodness me. So House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is doing what I said they were going to do. Let me tell you what's going to happen. We're just talking about the voting rights issue. And they're trying to get rid of the filibuster, but Sinema and Joe Manchin are standing in the way of that because I think it's a bad idea, and I agree with them 110%. But I said, let me tell you what's going to happen. We already have a, executive order, tit for tat now when it comes to politics, right? So Obama did something, Trump undoes it. Trump does something, Biden undoes it. Everything goes to court. That's where everything's fought out. That's the world that we live in now. And if you were to go and to do this, get rid of the filibuster, now what you're going to have is you're going to have I'm going to undo what you undid, which I'm going to undo what you undid. But I've been talking about we're going to have politicians, their only goal is to undo and never look forward. And the second thing is now more than ever before, it's revenge politics. It's revenge politics. So much of that came with Trump, right? A lot of people hated him. They went after him. But Kevin McCarthy has vowed to remove 3 Democratic lawmakers from key assignments if the Republicans win back the chamber. Citing new standards the Democrats created, they remove Marjorie Taylor Greene, Paul Gosar for their inflammatory rhetoric and post. McCarthy told Breitbart he would strip Democrats Adam Schiff, Eric Swalwell, both of California, Ilhan Omar of their committee assignments, which is absolutely what we're going to have now. So what we're going to have now is we're going to have, I'm telling you guys, when the Republicans win back the House, which they're going to do, you watch how fast they trip over themselves to jack the pooch, to screw this whole thing up. You watch what happens. They're going to investigation after investigation. Adam Schiff, Eric Swalwell. You know that's coming, right? All day. They're going to open up investigations into all kinds of things when it comes to Biden and his son, which is, look, there's some questions, when it comes to Hunter Biden. Who's buying your $400,000 paintings, your paint by numbers? I mean, there's some questions I guess you can ask. And let's be 100% honest. For all the stuff that Trump's got, right? If we could just be straightforward, for all the crap that Trump got and his kids, if they'd have done what Hunter Biden had done, people losing their mind. And it's not like Hunter Biden was some uber success, went into the family business, and no. So, but that's what you're going to have. You're going to have investigation after investigation. All the while, what's going to be getting done? Nothing. When people are, well, Chad, you talk about the economy, but you're you pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I do, and you should. And there's nothing wrong with a hand up, not a hand out. My problem is when government is the one that can dictate, and only government, to do certain things, whether it be, in the gas side of things, whether it be in the, like immigration. It's a perfect example of the insanity. You and I, as the average person, can only replace the people that we think will take care of immigration. There's nothing else we can do about it, right? There's no pulling ourselves up by the bootstraps and going, I'm just going to go down the border and build my own wall. When it comes to gas prices, there's only so much you can be able to do about it, which all affects the economy. Little things like that. But when you have revenge, and you have politicians that are going to spend their entire time, just like Adam Schiff had, just like Eric Swalwell, they exist because Trump exists. That's why. Did anybody ever hear of Adam Schiff before this? No. Eric Swalwell? Not a chance. Ilhan Omar? No. AOC? Would never have heard of her. Marjorie Taylor Greene? Nah. Paul Gosar? Nope. Matt Gaetz? Nah. They fed like a remora off the underbelly of Trump and his presidency. But now we're going to have a battle back and forth that has very little to do with anything other than I'll show you, you hurt my team. It's the Hatfields and McCoys. That's what we're going to get now. That's what politics is going to become. The Hatfields and McCoys. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet, text. Love hearing from every single one of you. A lot of people still in shock by the death of Bob Saget. How did it happen? What happened? I mean, he performed the night before, and then nobody heard from him.
Authorities revealing it was his family who called police in Florida after they couldn't reach the actor Sunday morning following a stand-up performance in Ponte Vedra Beach. A security guard repeatedly knocking on his hotel room door, calling police after finding the actor unresponsive. A police report saying he was found lying on his back on the bed. His left arm was across his chest while his right arm was resting on the bed. There was no sign of foul play, trauma, or drugs.
Yeah. Would I be surprised if he had a heart attack? No. I don't know what his two sisters died when they were in their early 40s. It was a shock to a lot of people. He's 65 years old. That's a young person in today's world. And I think a lot of people are still in shock by, this was, Betty White was 99, right? It's, you go and you look and you start seeing all these people that have passed away recently. They're in their 80s and 90s. And he was 65. He did 2 hours of stand-up the night before. 2 hours of stand-up. And people are, just talking about what a wonderful person he was and how kind he was.
I wanted to say a few words about Bob Saget. Read anything about Bob online last night. A word that came up a lot was the sweetest. Bob was the sweetest man. He was so funny, and I'm not talking about Full House or America's Funniest Home Videos or stand-up comedy or movies. I mean funny for real. Like when you walk into a party, you saw Bob and his wife Kelly in the corner, you go straight to them and stay for as long as you could because he had something funny to say about everything and nothing bad to say about anyone.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are echoing those same sentiments. Sad. And again, a shocking thing when you see somebody that young pass away like that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. I give it to my dogs every single day, and they love it. Sprinkle on top of my dog's food. It's like it's all of the things my dog's food's lacking. and they love the taste of it. It brings the food to life. It's got vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9, all this incredible stuff. And it's just truly been a huge win for my older dog, Doodle. His hips don't hurt. His fur's the best it's been. His skin doesn't itch like it did before. It is incredible, incredible. Now is your chance to try it before you buy it. They're going to send you a bag for free. All you have to do is cover the cost of shipping. RUFFgreens.com/Chad, roughgreens.com/Chad, or call 833-MY-DOG-77, 833-MY-DOG-77. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
I'm exhausted.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Dejectedly, Alabama comes to the line for this 4th down and 11. It'll be the last play, barring a penalty, and it ends in a sack. Young dropped back at the 41. That is a fitting ending. Nolan Smith, the sack. Georgia has won the national championship with their school record 14th win of the season. First time they've ever won 14 in a game, and they win the national title for the second time.
Yep, second time. 1980 was the last time. Let's give you guys an idea. Last night's national championship game, Alabama was going for their 7th in 13 years. I think it's safe to say that Nick Saban has built a dynasty in Alabama. I think it is safe to say that. They will both be favored, according to Vegas, for next year. I enjoyed watching it. It's like football. It's like this past weekend, the craziness in football. We're going to talk about it. That game, producer, I don't know if you stayed up late to watch that game. You probably didn't.
No, I didn't.
But arguably, I can't remember a football game as exciting as that between the Raiders and the Chargers. And, you know, earlier in the day, Pittsburgh goes and wins the game. They're partying. There's no way these two teams are going to tie. Just never going to happen. And then to get down to the final play of the season, regardless of what took place, if you'd make the kick or miss the kick, that was it. Season was over. And Daniel Carson hit a 45-yard field goal or something to win it for the Raiders. But the weird thing was, after the game, and the conspiracies are flowing, because it looked like it was over. And after the game, you saw several players go, "Why did your coach call a timeout?" And they're like, "We don't know," because Staley, the coach of the Chargers, called a timeout, and it was weird because everybody was saying they had kind of come to the point where they were just going to kind of run the clock out, not make a big deal about it with only, seconds left. It was just amazing to watch, though. It was. And it sucks because we don't get to see Justin Herbert, who is just a freak of nature. Like, I've never seen anybody throw a ball as hard as he does in the NFL. Never. It's just insane. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text said program. Love hearing from all of you. Over the weekend, there was lots of movies still out there. Didn't get a chance to go see any, but the box office, is there anything stopping Spider-Man? Movies are now moving out later in the year to avoid the tsunami of Spider-Man.
We can't just send them home to die.
Spider-Man No Way Home scored a 4th consecutive week in the box office top spot, earning an additional $33 million domestically and sliding into 6th place among the all-time domestic box office earners, beating Titanic's $659 million by more than $9 million.
We're the top agents from around the world.
The all-female action flick, The 355, sputtered in its debut, fighting the pandemic and poor reviews both to bow with a disappointing $4.8 million.
Yeah. Spider-Man's over $1.6 billion on a $200 million budget. And this is when Hollywood would come in and go, you know what? We made $2.8 billion, but God, we lost $600 million. It's like, where did it go? Did somebody steal it? Because that's the only way you can lose that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Have a blessed rest of your day. Have an amazing time. We will do it again tomorrow. Night-night, Jack.
This is The Chad Benson Show.